Hi, I am Vikas Ahlawat. I secured 324 marks in history optional in CSC 2018. Even though I was from engineering background, but still I was able to get a humongous score, which remains the highest score in this optional in last 10 years. And how I was able to do it, I'll tell you briefly. But before that, I want to make you understand that the most important question in front of any aspirant is that how to choose an optional. In 2013, when I started my journey, I was equally puzzled, had no idea how to choose. As someone from engineering background, कोई idea नहीं था regarding UPSC. But I was able to come up with a system that these are the basic ideas which you should understand before choosing any option. Let us try to delve into this, okay? Because with the benefit of the hindsight, I can tell easily which thing is going to play the most important role in your preparations. Let us try that. First, most important thing is interest. My friends, what happens, even though everybody wants to crack this exam in one attempt, but sadly, it cannot happen for everyone. And I was also one of them, okay? And if you do not have interest in the subject, eventually for 2, 3, 4 years, like suppose till you get selected, it will be very difficult to carry it on. And for many students, I have seen what they'll do, if they're not able to clear, they'll say, optional change kar lete hain. But I don't think that's a very good decision. Okay, so in the beginning itself, you should realize that if you have interest in that or not. And for me, history was a natural subject because throughout my school, I liked history, but eventually after shifting towards engineering, I lost the touch. But I knew that I can read it for 2, 3 years. And it's like story to me. But just having interest is not enough. You have to understand this. Okay, because even if you have interest and there is no specific success rate, it's not going to help you out. Second, very important part, syllabus of the optional. The syllabus should be neatly designed. For me, history was like this. It is divided into 4 parts: ancient, medieval, modern, and world. And all these 4 parts are eventually going to be part of the trend also. Okay, I saw the previous year questions. Along with it, I was able to realize, okay, from which topics, which kind of questions are coming. Okay, and finally, the sweetest part, that do we have the mentorship for it or not? If all these 4 criteria, interest, syllabus of the optional, trend and performance, and eventually mentorship gets completed, I can choose that optional. And for that, eventually I went for history. All of you also need to understand this. Choosing an optional may be a bit difficult in the beginning. Okay, so one specific approach which you can follow is just read the NCERT of various subjects. Okay, number one. Second, see the previous year questions. Is the previous year question, are you able to understand them at least? All right, that becomes your second criteria. And third, the performance of the optional. How many toppers are coming from there? And if all these criteria are able to help you out, then eventually you can choose your optional and get a very good rank in the civil services. Now I will delve into history. History as a subject, how it has helped me and how it can help you too. Okay, because after quitting from services in 2021, I was able to give a final topper, rank 1, in my first year itself. And how did it happen? Let us see. First, very important thing, this subject's whole syllabus is thoroughly enumerated. बहुत प्यार से अच्छे से UPSC ने इसको डिजाइन कर रखा है. And all the questions, they come from the syllabus directly. So that's why it becomes easy. Whenever you cover a specific part of the syllabus, you can become very confident. Okay, at least I can solve this much. First thing. Second, whenever you read history, it enhances your understanding of the various topics of essay. Like from last 2 years, one topic of essay is coming from history. Like history repeats itself. Similarly, even in ethics paper, large number of case study from the past can be written down, and that can further improve your understanding of GS paper 4. If you see one more important thing, quantitative advantage, at least 14 to 20 questions. This is the range in which UPSC is asking question in prelims from history in last 5 to 7 years. And that's why it has a quantitative advantage in terms of marks in prelims. Similarly, in mains also. In GS paper 1, at least 75 to 100 marks. It keeps on varying. Okay, so because of all these reasons, quantitative advantage is there. And finally, in order to understand any current affair, everybody wants to know the historical background of that topic. And this also get created because of history. Because of all these factors and the specific parameters, like in paper 1 prelims, GS paper 1 up to 100 marks it can come. In paper 2, constitutional history background can come directly from history. Even the transition of the IR can be seen from the world history. And finally, in GS paper 3 also, we can easily see topics like land reform, etc. directly from the history optional. Because of all these factors, I was able to choose history, and eventually it paid off for me. So if you're also one of them who want to choose history, then this can be the criteria on the basis of which you can do so. Now let me tell you something more about what I was able to achieve in last 2 years. Yes, the UPSC journey was fruitful. After that, I was able to enjoy in the services also. And thereafter, when I decided that I should join a specific journey, that it was more of a spiritual journey for me, that is the teaching. So in this part also, I was able to excel. All right. So what is important, in 2021, rank 1 came from our test series. And because of this, we were able to realize that the methodology which I was able to commit in 2018 was able to work in 21 also. Similarly, the next year also, many toppers have come from our institute in 2022 already. Many of them are in the top 100 rank itself. But that's why once you are able to understand the depth of each and every topic, the strategy to write answers, and eventually revise it quickly, you can score very high marks in history. As you can see, from 2017 till 2022, majority of the years, more than 300 marks have been scored by toppers from history optional. And this is something which you can also do without from the history background. Like I was not from history background, I was from engineering, and I was able to get 324, which remains the highest marks in this optional. And you can also do so. Okay, and it can also help you out in prelims as well as mains. Now, when I talk about my history optional foundation course, it has some specific areas which we are going to talk about in detail. Like first one, the concept building classes. Like whenever you choose any optional, actually the initiation phase should be relatively easy. If I bombard you with the direct syllabus from the class 1, it's going to make it a hell of a lot of difficult for you to understand the basic framework. That's why we take concept classes. After that, I also focus on the map portion. As all of you must have seen, if you have seen the history optional papers, 50 marks, 10% of your overall marks of the optional depend directly upon your mapping section. And this is where majority of the people face a lot of problem. I also faced in 2013 to 2015. It took me 2 years to get a hold of map. Okay, because there was no specific coaching which was taking interest in helping us in these specific section. I was able to come up with a fantastic algorithm for the map question, and in the last 2 years I have been able to teach more than 2000 students specifically for this area of map, and this has helped wonders for all of them. Third, the core classes. In the core classes, what we will be doing, we'll be able to provide you handouts for all the topics so that you don't have to make notes on your own, number one. Second, we'll have this detailed discussion on all the topics of the syllabus. We'll create frameworks. We'll do answer writing in every class. So this will be the main agenda of the core concept classes. Then fourth, very important part. Even if I teach you each and every part of the syllabus and you don't know how to write answers, there will always be a failure because of that. That's why at every regular interval, roughly every fortnight, we are going to have a test, you're going to write it, then we're going to have a discussion about it, so that you can improve all the parts of your option. And finally, mentorship is required for UPSC. And in this regard, I can help you out not only for optional, but also all for your general studies. In general studies also, I have secured lots of marks when I used to give exam. And because of this, not only history will focus on each and every aspect of your preparation, be it prelims, mains, and interview. All of you understand this, that 12 lakh people are going to appear in the prelims, but only 14,000, 15,000 will write mains. So the maximum amount of requirement for the mains will be required at the prelims also. Okay, so if you are not clearing prelims, eventually तो पूरी मेहनत खराब हो जाती है. So I am going to help you there also, because I cleared all 6 out of 6 prelims. And I know specifically how to use the knowledge of your optional for the prelims also. So because of this, a wholesome package will be given to you along with the history optional foundation. Then, if we see in terms of numbers, because this is the age of numbers, more than 120 interactive sessions will be there, 90 plus concept classes will be there specifically, okay, 40 plus previous year questions discussion. So what I do along with the classes, we try to solve all the questions of the previous year, so that there is not a single trouble left for you after the completion of the foundation course. most important value added document, what to study from which book, if you wish to study, all of that will be provided by us. Evaluation, 10 tests will be there, more than 10 webinar, because what I do, I try to take all the doubts with respect to civil services, not just limiting myself to history, with respect to current affairs, with respect to essay, etc. All those things, so that my students can get a very good rank. So this is the whole perspective, is that you should get selected. It's not just about one specific optional. And then finally, the handouts and eventually the mentorship session. These sessions are going to help you in reaching to your true potential. And देखो जब भी अच्छे से मेहनत करेंगे तो eventually result तो आना ही चाहिए. And for making that sure, we are going to go with the mentorship sessions. And if we see results, okay, the results have been fabulous for all of us. In 2021 itself, I was able to get a student who was able to crack the civil service exam with the first rank, that is Shruti Sharma. But along with her, we had Ishan. Okay, in the previous years, when I was in services, I was able to help Amit Chaturvedi as well as Shreyansh Tiwari to get their respective services. And in 22, we are again able to get very good score. On an average, those students who were doing test series, advanced classes at our institute, they were able to score more than 275 marks. And this is something which is unbelievable, considering previously the score used to be in the range of 250 to 260. And this is what I have been able to do in the last 2 years. And if you'll study with me, if you'll eventually come with me and join these classes, so you can also become one of them and join the Hall of Fame. All right, so this is something which we are starting with. All right, we have also shown the mark sheet. Okay, like starting from me itself, getting 168 and 156 in paper 1 and paper 2 in 2018. You can see even the mark sheet of Shruti Sharma. She was able to get 150 and 156. And finally, even Mukul, okay, one of my students from 22, he was able to score roughly 295 marks. So getting marks is not going to be difficult if your foundation is very strong. And second, you're able to understand what to do, what not to do. As all of you understand, syllabus to dekho, it is indicative in nature. But at the same time, we should always understand which part of the syllabus is the most important. And as someone who has already topped the exam with the highest marks, I know every nitty-gritty of this optional. Okay, so you can come and join our foundation classes, and eventually I'm going to help you out in realizing your dream of clearing for the civil services. So all the very best, and I'll see you in the classes. For the sake of inquiry, you can note down these numbers. All right, because if you have any of the doubt with respect to the optional, you're going to get a mentorship call. Eventually you can even fill the form and then have one-to-one session with me. That will be as per my availability, but surely you're going to get your slot. Okay, so all the very best, and I'll see you in the classes.